Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Now today's video we are going to do something a little bit more Christmassy, which I'm dead excited about. So we are going to make a gingerbread bundt cake. Now for this recipe we're going to need a trusty bundt tin. I have greased and dusted with flour this tin so that it doesn't stick, which is exactly what we want. And we're going to preheat our oven to 160 degrees fan forced. Now, first of all, we're going to start with our flour. We're going to add in all our spices. So we have allspice, we have cinnamon, we have ginger, we have cumin and cloves. So we're going to add that in. Make sure we get all of that in there. And we've also got our baking soda and our salt as well. So we're going to add that into our flour mixture and give that a good old mix up so that that is thoroughly combined. Now we're going to pop this to the side and we'll come back to this very shortly. Okay, so now we have all of our wet ingredients ready to go into our KitchenAid. So first of all, we have our brown butter that we browned earlier. Now you just brown butter by basically popping it into a pan or a pot and put it on a medium heat until you sort of get these little flecks. So I browned this butter a little bit earlier on and now it's fully cooled. So we'll add that in. Like so, and it's got such a lovely nutty aroma, so that's going to flavour the cake deliciously. Then we have our vegetable oil with our vanilla paste as well. Add that all in, as well as our very dark and gloopy molasses, which is going to really intensify this cake. That in. And then last but not least, our brown sugar. And we're going to beat that for roughly around 5 minutes until that's all come together and is lovely and combined. Alrighty. Alright, fabulous. Now that has all come together and is looking not that pleasant, but trust me, it will look and taste delicious very, very shortly. So now we're going to add in our eggs. So we've got 4 large eggs. And then we're going to beat that again on a high speed until all of that has come together and is lovely incorporated. Alrighty, now let's scrape down the bowl before we add in our dry ingredients. Make sure all of that little sticky molasses is all in there. Alright, great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in our flour that we prepared earlier, as well as our buttermilk. Now we're going to alternate and go dry, wet, dry, wet, dry, wet until basically everything is in there. And slowly mix in between each stage. Great, then we'll add some of our buttermilk. Stir that through. And then lastly, all of the flour. In there. And then we'll give that one final mix up until everything is fully combined. Amazing. So now that that has all come together lovely, we're just going to scrape down all the sides, get all of that lovely cake mixture off the spatula, or the beater I should say. Alright, so we'll scrape down our bowl, get everything mixed thoroughly through. Make sure that there's no nuggets of molasses or even flour in there. And then, once all of that is lovely and combined, we can bring in our trusty little bundt tin. So please make sure that you can either spray this tin with like oil, like grease oil, or you can use butter and flour, which is what I've done. But please make sure you grease your pan. And then we are going to pour in our delicious cake batter. Fabulous. And now that that is all in there, we are going to pop this into the oven for roughly around an hour. You need to pop a skewer in and make sure that it is fully cooked, but aim for an hour, and we shall see you soon. Okay guys, so now our cake has cooled down. It is time to do the assembly decoration part. So I have just chopped off the very top of the cake as it did bake over the mold. So I've just quickly chopped that off. So I'll just get rid of that cake. And it honestly smells so good. It smells like Christmas. I'm so excited. So what I'm gonna do is I've got my little serving dish here. I'm just gonna pop this on the top like this and flip it over and hope that the greasing and the butter, the greasing and the flour dusting that I did was enough. This is where you kind of find out. So we'll see and hope for the best. Now, the question is, how are we gonna get it out of the tin? So what have we got? We'll bang it with whatever you've got handy. And hope that it's gonna come out. Oh, there we go. Dun, dun, dun. And look at that, it's perfect. So that just goes to show you definitely need to over-grease and dust your baking dish, because then you will get the perfect bundt cake, essentially. Now, what I have got to the side of me is some warm gingerbread caramel, which I made yesterday. So to make the gingerbread syrup, we're going to place the sugar, syrup and butter into a small saucepan over a low heat and cook for 5 minutes, stirring occasionally until the sugar has dissolved. Then we're going to add the cream and the spices and cook for another 12 minutes until it has slightly thickened. And then lastly, we're going to remove from the heat and allow the sauce to cool for roughly 5 minutes before pouring it into a sterilised jar, or until we're ready to pour over our gingerbread bundt cake. And then we're just going to pour our lovely gingerbread caramel over our bundt cake. Like so. And there's plenty, this recipe for the gingerbread caramel, there's plenty. So you can also, when you go to serve the cake, you can also have some extra caramel and you can put it with some custard or whatever you like. Okay, I am so excited to try this. I also, just quickly off camera, did a quick little dusting of icing sugar, which just makes it look extra Christmassy. And that's exactly what we want. So let's have a little taste. It's literally like sitting in a pool of the gingerbread syrup. I'm so excited. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. And if you want to be a little bit extra, you absolutely can. You can just pour over some of that syrup on the top. Just if you wanted to be a little bit extra, you know. All right, let's try some. Nice big mouthful. And it's such a dense cake, like that's why I love bundt cakes, is because they're so much more dense, and they're a different kind of cake, like super moist. It's more of a pudding. You can have it with custard. It's, yeah, I love it. Okay, let's try. Oh my God. That is chef's kiss. That's actually so, so good. It's super Christmassy. It's super spicy. It actually reminds me so much of like Europe and European Christmas. Oh my God, I want to go in for another one. It's so, so moist. With that buttermilk in the recipe, it really helps it become really moist. And it's almost like, it reminds me of the Jamaican loaves that I used to have as a kid. Like, it's got so much spice in it that it just literally takes me back to that. I think it was a McVitie's Jamaican loaf. I can't quite remember, but honestly, it is bloody delicious. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's Christmas-inspired recipe. I think it's a perfect recipe to use, or even take to your families, or even Friendsmas. Friendsmas? Yeah, Friendsmas. Christmas. It's a massive crowd pleaser, so I really hope you make it this Christmas. If you do, feel free to tag me in your photos. And yeah, we shall see you next week for another Christmas video. Bye, guys.